say that. That is not true. We're going to talk about the benefits, not the sad part about it. But the truth is that we're all gonna go that way. It's not an option. It's not like you could opt out of it. So why not prepare yourself and also, look after those who are left behind? Just saying. But we don't also have to just focus on that tonight. I wanted to say that to you, George. I was like, I really also want to focus on coverage for small business owners. That's a struggle for me. Health coverage, getting coverage at a reasonable price that is actually good because I'm going to save my scenario, but I will share it so you can see if you can help me out.
Okay.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur.
I'm boiling with excitement. Like, so I did this presentation probably about 5 years ago. And I did not have the amount of products or the amount of connections, meaning contracts that I have today. So it's been a lot of work. But yeah, it's definitely a finish. It's not completely finished, but it's a finished product, meaning there's so much about insurance. So I'm always learning.
Yeah.
And I have a partner of mine that he's been in it for 34 years, and he said he's still learning. So it's a never ending story.
I would agree with that totally. I did during the pandemic, this is hilarious, but I did auto insurance for a while and I learned a lot and it's forever changing. And all I'll say that's my next insurance gripe that I have is people ride around with not enough coverage and people need to up the ante with the cost of these cars now and medical. Yeah. So anyways.
One thing I did do, I just got a car. I did the gap insurance. Now that I'm in insurance, I'm like, ain't no way that I'm walking away without gap insurance.
Do it. But also just making sure that people do come after you personally, especially if there's some, people are texting now at high speeds. Wrecks are just a little bit more dangerous. You want to make sure that you have enough coverage where they can't intrude on your life, take your house, you know what I mean? Or things of that sort. Because it can come to that if someone gets seriously injured. So anyways, I'm a big insurance person because I'm like, we don't think about those that are left behind and what we could be leaving them, the burdens that we could be leaving them. And so just making a small little monthly sacrifice payment that you probably spend in a restaurant, a night out on the town, and you can leave your family in a better position. Let's see. All right, so it is actually 7:06, so we're going to get started. We are already recording, so I'm just going to pull up hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. This is our weekly call, Flip These Bricks Academy. I am Jasmine, your co-host. So glad to have you here. We are here every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We were just kind of doing a little open networking and talking about insurance, which we'll be talking about, having a great presentation tonight. So I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, go over our housekeeping really quickly so we can kind of get moving and do some introductions. Seeing a lot of new faces, that always makes me excited. All right, so here we are. Welcome to Flip These Bricks Academy once again. Refresh. There we are. All right, so our mission is we are building a community of professional business owners. We want to build partnerships. We want to share knowledge and content. We want to refer business to each member. And of course, we're here to create real estate investment opportunities through joint ventures. Our mantra is the power of partnership. We do believe in that. I am now saying our book is officially Who, Not How. We are looking to connect our who's. Instead of asking the question, how can we get this done? We want to see who can we get it done with. And that is our goal here at Flip These Bricks. We meet every Monday, 7:05. We'd appreciate it if you have your cameras on. We want to get to know those we are doing business with. Please monitor your microphone. If you are not speaking, make sure that you are muted and giving your full attention to the person that has the floor. And of course, we are looking for your participation, and we hope that you walk away with something that can better yourself professionally and real estate and personally. All right. We are currently in these cities with these bricks. We're looking to expand, but I would say our focus markets are New York, Atlanta, and Dallas. Definitely growing in the Dallas, Texas area, having a lot more interest there. And then we also have members in Connecticut, Maryland. I am in Florida, St. Pete, Tampa area. And so we are wanting to continue to grow. We don't want to just be nationwide. We want to be global. That is the goal. So continue to tell others about Flip These Bricks. All right. So I am going to stop sharing our screen. And at this time, we're going to open the floor up for some introductions. Our most favorite part, I guess I will kick it off once again. I am Jasmine Robinson. I am a licensed realtor in the state of Florida and Georgia. I'm also a accountability coach and the daily operations manager here at Flip These Bricks. All right. And I'm very excited to have you all on the call. And it's a great Monday. So whoever is ready to unmute and introduce themselves, please do.
I will go next. Let's get it out the way. I am Daniel Dawkins, general contractor, real estate developer, focal point here in New York Tri-State, Atlanta, Georgia, as well as Dallas, Texas. And I will put all my information in the chat for any new faces that we see on here tonight to be able to have my contact information.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Right, so we would love to hear from our new guests. If you're visiting us for the first time, please do not be afraid. If you don't want to turn on your camera, please turn on your mic. At least tell us a little bit about yourselves, how you heard about us, your name, and what business you possibly provide. As for our members or our reoccurring guests, you know what's up. Don't make me call on you. Help a sister out, okay? I'm all smiles today, actually, so.
All right, let me get it over with. I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't want you to call me out.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Janice Hackney. I'm a retired registered nurse, and I am interested in learning more about real estate, joint ventures, single ventures, and I'm also a patented inventor of a medical device to add to my resume or my portfolio, so to speak.
Ma'am. Thank you, Miss Janice. Okay. I like your lip color. You're looking jazzy.
Girl, you know, I was looking at some of these things on the mighty networks, and I said, oh my God, you know, when we look back, I said, I look like I just crawled out of bed. I said, let me get myself together. I'm going to put my lipstick on now every time I come on.
Yes, thank you. I love it. Me too. I'm like, ooh, you're looking good though. And the frames. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Sorry, I sidetracked. My bad, guys. It's a girl thing. It's a girl thing. All right. Joseph the Dreamer, I saw you unmiked. We would love to hear from you. Happy Monday.
Yes, happy Monday to everybody. I'm just a dreamer, just working on fulfilling my mother's legacy. And so Flip These Bricks, like 2.0 or whatever they call it, you know, it's so aligned with what I have been raised doing. So I'm just an honor to be here, and I'm looking for the success of this platform.
I'm very glad to see you today. I'm glad that you joined us.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I love you guys.
Appreciate you. Love you too. All right, who's next? Who's next? It's a happy Monday.
Yep.
April I know. I have some crazy exciting news. Okay, who's that?
Madre.
Hi, Madre.
Hey everyone, I'm Madre Giles. I am a franchise developer and also specialize in business and personal credit, and just here to learn more about real estate and purchasing.
Wonderful. We're very glad to see you. Thank you for joining us today. All right. Okay. Carolyn, would you like to introduce yourself? I see that you're unmuted. So take the opportunity. Yes, no? Okay. Maybe when she comes back, anyone else would like to unmute? Mr. Sherrod, I'm going to pick on you this Monday. Can you introduce yourself, please, sir?
It's Mr. Sherrod. Sherrod. Who's that?
Yes.
Yes.
He's unmuting. He's trying to. Give him 1 sec. Can you get it? No?
And I tried.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
I
How are
didn't,
you?
I didn't realize you wanted me to unmute. I'm sorry.
It's okay. How are you
Yeah,
today?
I'm great. What about yourself?
I'm great, thank you. Can you introduce yourself to everyone and let them know how fabulous you are?
Oh, say again now? I'm sorry.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Uh, my name is Michael Sherrod. I'm a retired electrical engineer, and Dan and I are first cousins, and so I've been knowing Danny since Danny was, came about, and especially his father. So it's just, just work with him. I've been working with him before this started, so I'm still working with him
Awesome. Well, we're happy
and,
to have you.
helping any way I can.
We appreciate it. Thank you for your support.
No, thank you.
All right. Very good. Anyone else would like to introduce themselves? Going once, going twice. All right. I'm not forcing it tonight. We're gonna go ahead and get into
There I
our.
go.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm Alteric Bruton. From Bruton Capital LLC out of New Jersey. I'm a nationwide real estate investor. I'm a property analyst and CMO for Flip These Bricks. I'm here to for partnerships and also education and learn and also learning and just growing the organization and coming together as one.
Very good. Thank you. You're on the
Thank you.
countdown to the big day. How many more days do you have left?
How many days you got left, baby? This is almost what, 2 months?
Fail, fail. I'm just kidding.
I got a countdown going, but I couldn't get to it fast. No.
You're supposed to know that in your head, sir. That's like when they were like, "How many years have you been married?" You're
Well,
like,
we were just talking about the Mondays running together, so I don't know what today is.
okay, that's a good comeback. Good comeback. I like it.
Quick.
Gotta be. All right, so
81
we're gonna
days.
81 days. All right,
Boom.
that's awesome. All right, so we're gonna move it along. We're gonna keep it going. I'm sharing my screen again just to do a brief introduction. We've had a couple conversations about insurance with George, but tonight he's going to do an official presentation for us. I'm very excited about this, wanting to know more about how we can better cover ourselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him the opportunity to be able to share. 1 second for me. And then he could get into it. George, do you want to tell anyone else? You want to do your own introduction? Tell them a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, did you get my request?
That,
Share screen?
no. Let me
No.
see. Three.
Yep, we can see. Excellent. All right, great.
So a little bit of background about myself. I was 11 years, I was in the Navy. Insurance came along, like several people throughout my career kept on reaching out to me about insurance. And then I was working at UPS and as a part-time supervisor and decided to look into the insurance industry and wonder why everybody was reaching out to me. So once I got to insurance, there was a couple things that really kept me driving, and including today. Always having a solution for everybody that I sit down and talk to. One of the things that drive that home, I was working with my very first company, and I sat with a young lady. She had 5 children. She had been on her job for over 5 years as a supervisor, so she had steady pay, and I could not get her insured. And that I mean, that literally broke my heart because the kids started playing on top of me, and I was playing with the kids, and next thing I know, I'm walking out the house, and she's not covered. Like, so that really, I started trying to find a reason, like why and how can I position myself to never have that happen to me again. Another thing that kind of drove me with my business is I do a lot of work in the community, and the one thing that always is missing in our community is money. Those non-profit organizations that don't have the proper funding that they need to do all the things that they want to do. So I created my company so that I am the yes and no of where money can go and where it cannot go. So those are the two driving things that drive me. Originally from Philadelphia, I have 4 kids, and I think I'm up to about 7 grandkids. My kids, my 2 oldest sons keep on dating women with kids already, so they're like me, and they keep on just taking care of the kids. And when they break up with the women, still around with the kids. So, like I multiply. Yeah, we like the gremlins over here. So I'll go ahead and get started. So, name my company is Maple Insurance Brokerage, providing solutions for the life you're living and the legacy you leave. Hopefully, do this presentation, it scares you a little bit. Just to bring some light into where you are, where you could be, and just things like that. Let's see, won't advance. There it goes. All right, so the first thing is health insurance. So these are all the companies that I am currently contracted with, both for individual and small businesses. I really focus on my last probably 6 months has been really focusing on small businesses, because especially with health insurance, there's a benefit to getting health insurance at a group rate rather than individual. There are several upsides to it. And the small businesses, a group is anybody that's 2 or more is considered a group. And the thing about groups is everybody here is in business. So you tell me who the employees that work for you. So they could be your kids. The insurance company is never going to go to Jasmine and say, I want to know what George made to make him your employee, what he made last year. They're just not going to dig that deep into it. I am your liaison between you and the insurance company. So I am on your side as a broker. So here's the different things between individual versus group. Individuals usually have a higher premium. They're considered a higher risk because it's just you. The individual is based on the rates are based on the height, weight, gender, and your zip code. For a group, you have lower premiums if the employer or the government subsidizes the payments. And I say subsidized because that's what the ACA, the Obamacare, right? So a lot of people do not understand that. They say, I was paying $300 when I came from work, and now you're telling me I got to pay $500. That's because your employer was paying a large amount of that premium to get that premium down so that you, as the employee can feel comfortable purchasing that product. And the larger the company, of course, the cheaper the rates, and there's just a whole lot of things. There's just a lot of benefits to the larger the group, the more you get. It's kind of like similar to you look at group, and then comes the health insurance. in general. Like when you buy things in bulk, right? You go to Sam's Club or BJ's, you buy it in bulk and you get a cheaper rate. Insurance works exactly the same way. When you go into the group, you also have to complete a census. That's where you put everybody's information on there, and the information is usually name, date of birth, and the zip code. They put the zip code on there just to make sure that when I present you with a quote, that you have providers within your network, right? So they're never going to put you in a policy where I'm never going to put you in a policy where based on your zip code you don't have anywhere to go. You got to drive 100 miles to get to a doctor, to a provider. And MEC is minimum essential coverage. So you can kind of dig more into that when you are ready to kind of go down that path, because it's a little complicated, but it's the minimum essential coverage is what it is. There's several companies where the MECs are pretty good, meaning that you still have with all the things about insurance, especially health insurance, you pay for what you get, right? So most people want to look at the cheaper thing, and health insurance is not one of those avenues, or insurance in general. You just keep that in mind. You pay for what you get. So I also offer dental and vision. These are the companies that are offered through that. Again, that's individual and group. Now we're going to talk about Medicare. And Medicare, most people on here, like, why do you want to talk about Medicare? I just started offering Medicare. This is my second AEP. And after I started offering Medicare, this is something that you should not wait till you get to the age of 65 to understand and try to figure it out. One, you're not as we get older, right? You start losing things. And ability to understand Medicare is changing every year. It changes every year. We have to go through certifications because it's ran by the government. So it changes every year. And so does the different policies that the different companies, the things that they offer change every year as well. So us as Medicare providers or Medicare insurance agents try to put you into the best policy that's out there for that year. So Medicare is not one of those things where you like, Humana is my company, and just be in tunnel vision to say Humana is always going to be my company, because Aetna can come back the following year and offer something that's better than Humana. But that doesn't mean that you would lose your current doctor that you have. So I looked up a little video to kind of explain. Hopefully it comes up. Yeah, it does. Awesome. Can you see that?
No, can't see the video.
All right, let me see. Hold on. I just need to change screens. I have 1,000 screens.
Okay, so while you're looking that up, I do have a quick question about, so more so for like the small business owner like myself, who's just an individual, who's a sole proprietor. What kind of options are available to me? And am I gonna have to pay the $500, or can I get something that's, I mean, I have a current plan now, but it's called I hope I say it correctly, indemnity plan correctly. So what I've learned is that it's kind of like an emergency kind of plan, meaning like if I end up in the emergency room or something, I'm not without anything. But and I pay like about $130 a month, I guess. I can't afford the 500. Am I gonna have to be in the 500 to get like United Healthcare with a primary where I could get my physicals and, or am I just gonna
So,
have to stick
so,
with like just
so
praying, Lord?
the beautiful thing is, this is our group, right?
Oh,
So you have if there's enough people within Flip These Bricks, here's
mm,
your group.
I see. And so it's just, you're just saying it's just as simple as just saying
But
that they're employees. You don't have to get like I don't even know. I'm just so you don't have to have them on payroll. You have no payroll proof or anything of that sort.
nope.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty powerful. That's powerful to know. Okay.
Yeah, like if there's enough people within Flip Your Bricks, a lot of people say, we are a group. I wanted to see basically what George, what does the what do the prices look like? Um, like we will put everybody on there and just I will run a quote and say, do another presentation. Like here's what is offered.
Okay, so that's definitely for those that are like 1099s. I think we have some W-2 employees, but for our 1099s, I'm putting my hand up like, hey, anybody want to join with me?
Yeah. And it's really that simple.
Okay. I learned something. Okay, that's great. Now I'm gonna have to find some other uninsured or lightly insured people get on board with me. You see Daniel's heads down. I'm like, Daniel, hello. Okay, I'm sorry. We can keep it moving, keep it going.
He tried to say something. Unless he's
Too
talking to
late.
somebody.
Too late. All right.
Uh, let me try to share this again.
Okay.
Now can you see a little
Yes.
white lady?
Yes. Did you hit the share the sound button
Nope.
before you played it? Yeah, on that when you were going to hit
Can you hear
share.
me?
Mm-mm.
No.
You have to hit the share. It's like stop sharing. Sorry. Stop
Okay.
sharing this screen. Stop sharing. And then when you hit share screen at the very bottom, you'll see this little small square. It says share sound. See that? No. When the box comes like that screen that comes up with all the squares on it of what you have pulled up, do you see it says share sound at the
Uh,
bottom?
now I get. I learned something new today.
Hey, today is a good day.
That's awesome. I'm really excited about that.
Yes. And it
All
was
right.
free. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. How
there
about
we go.
now?
Have you heard about Medicare Advantage and Medicare supplements? You may hear Medicare Advantage referred to as Medicare Part C, and you may hear Medicare supplements referred to as Medigap. Let's talk about what they mean. To refresh your memory, Medicare consists of a few main parts. Part A covers hospital expenses. Part B covers doctor expenses. Part C is Medicare Advantage. Part D is prescription drug coverage, and Medicare supplements provide financial assistance. So, what exactly is Part C, or Medicare Advantage? Medicare Advantage is a combination of Part A, Part B, and sometimes Part D. That means that you'll get hospital, doctor, and potentially prescription drug coverage all wrapped up into one plan. Medicare Advantage plans vary greatly and can include a number of different perks and benefits, like dental coverage, vision coverage, and even Silver Sneakers, a fitness program that hosts exercise classes for seniors with Medicare Advantage. All of those extra benefits are included in the premium. The extra benefits do come with a cost, a higher premium. If you can't afford a Medicare Advantage plan, you may be better off with a Medicare supplement plan. Medicare supplement plans are designed to help you pay for some of the things Medicare Parts A and B don't cover. like co-payments, co-insurance, and deductibles. If you purchase a Medigap policy, your original Medicare Parts A and B will provide most of the coverage. Your Medigap policy will cover the extra costs, like copays and deductibles. While Medicare Advantage can get you the coverage for extra medical needs, Medicare Supplements can provide extra financial assistance. You cannot legally have both. You have to decide what you need more: extra benefits or extra financial assistance.
Okay. Stop sharing. Go back to my other screen. No.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. So again, what is Part A? In order to qualify for Part A, you have to either work 10 years contributing to Social Security, or work 40 quarters of work contributing also to Social Security. You can pay for it if you don't do either one of those. You can pay for Part A, right? And in 2024, Part A is either 278 or 505. And so they're going to base that off of, I believe, is your income. I need to dig more deeper into that, where that 278 and 505, but those are the current numbers. Or you qualifications are 65 years old and still working. Now, you might say, I ain't gonna get it. I'm just not gonna do it. If you ever get to it, that's a gamble that you take, because when you do find out that you need it, because you have to go to the doctor, there's a 10% penalty each month that you, after 65 or after you're eligible, that you have to pay in addition into that Part A, right? So that 278 or 505 will go up 10% per month. So if you wait 10 years, you do the math. That's pretty expensive as you get older. So they basically leave it so, you don't have a choice to avoid those penalties. Your Part B qualifications is 65 years old or still working. And the cost of Part B as of 2024 is $174.70.
Yep.
All right,
Ms. James.
that was me. I apologize. Funny thing is, it's a healthcare call. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. Part C qualifications, you must be entitled to Part A or enrolled in Part B. Part C are your companies as like Humana, UHC, United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, and Blue Cross. Those are the big guys in the Medicare business. There's other companies, but those are the heavy hitters. Part D is your prescriptions. So again, 65 years or older, and here's another one with a penalty, right? So you can say, I'm 65, I haven't taken any medication in the last 5-10 years. I could just go without Part D for a while. But as soon as that doctor hits you with a prescription and you're 65 or older, here comes that penalty. So they meaning the government, has it set up that you have to do what they say when they say do it. So supplemental, we're going to switch gears a little bit. So now here's your supplemental benefits. Supplemental benefits cover disability, short-term disability, cancer, heart attack, stroke. It gives you a lump cash value with some policies. Like if you get cancer and you have a policy that tells you that during your first diagnosis, you will get $10,000 in cash. And they'll send that to you as soon as you're diagnosed with it. You have accident really covers outside of just car accidents. Like if you're at home and you burn yourself or cut your finger off, God forbid, there's some money that will come to you for those. And hospital indemnity is for hospitalization. So all of what supplemental benefits, what you're looking at, is what we call living benefits. So you have insurance policies that have supplemental insurance attached to them. So you don't have to die in order to use your life insurance policy. If you don't hear nothing else, I'll say that again. Like you don't have to, if you have the right policy, you do not have to die to use your policy. That is for you as well.
Okay.
So here's the life insurance. Here's a few companies. There's a couple more, but just run out of space. And these changed. They have been changing over since I've been in insurance. I've been in insurance now for 7 years, and depending on the company, and if I find companies that have better products that will provide better solutions for my clients, I usually just change companies, or usually kind of lean towards one company or the other. It really just depends on where you are and what you're trying to do.
I have a quick question about insurance. What would you say is your biggest objection that you get in regards to like buying a policy? And when you receive that objection, how do you overcome it?
The biggest objection is I don't need it. I'm not leaving them no money. Ain't nobody leave me no money. So they gotta fend for themselves. And I'll get into where I've pivoted to as I get into the next slide. But it's like I swear when we went into the pandemic, I hate to say this, right? I was like, yes, a reason for people to, like, when we open back up, like the floodgates should be open. Like people should, like they should get it. Why they need life insurance. But as the world opened back up and we went back to normal, so did insurance. Go back to normal of having those people where I don't need it. But and it's just the education portion of it. And I'm gonna tell you, we're about to get into something that should really interest you. So there's different types of insurance. And I should have asked this question before I got into this, but you have term with reduced paid up, universal, and whole. Universal life, I just started offering that about 2 years ago because I don't offer anything that I fully, truly don't understand. But now that I understand it, it's the most powerful thing when it comes to all these products that you can get into. I mean, a universal life, and it's powerful because there's so many ways that you can set it up. You can set it up as when you get a certain age, it'll start paying you. Again, living benefits, if it's set up properly. So term is your last for a period of time, usually between 15 and 30 years. Is inexpensive because it has no cash value and it may or may not be renewable. A lot of people buy into term products, but the reality is if you live long enough, you're eventually going to need a whole life policy. And when you need that whole life policy, it depends on your age, your weight, and your current health, right? So that can send your premiums through the roof. So you're never going to be, your life insurance is never going to be as cheap as it is as of today, because nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. You're a doctor away from having high premiums. Doctor call away. A term policy is paid up for, again, 20 or 30 years. And these products you can, and again, they're based on your health. You can pay for it at 20 or 30 years and you will have no more payments. But your face value will be reduced. But the beautiful thing is a universal life policy, you can set that up the same way. And your face amount does not decrease, but increases over the years. When I tell you universal policies are powerful, I mean, it just, you can overfund them. They mirror the market, but they're not in the market. So when the market goes negative, your policy has a floor. Yes, Ms. Janice.
Two things. One, if you have a term policy, can you convert it to a universal, or you have to take it right out from the, gate and get a new policy?
It depends on how long you've been having that policy. Like I would try to see if there's a company that you can, there's a transfer, we could just transfer that over so you don't lose that money.
Right. Okay. I got to get my insurance stuff together. I got a bunch of different insurances, little bits, pieces, this, that. Got to sit everything down. I got a
Yes,
little.
I do that. I do that for free all day, every day. Like it does it.
A little bit of term, a little bit of whole. I got a little
Yeah.
bit of everything. At one point, I was worth more dead than alive. I had so much daggone policies. That was pathetic. But it's okay. And I also realized there's some people, some cultures, I will say, and I just recently read this and learned this about maybe a few years ago. They take out these big policies on these elders in the family, and everybody groups together, pays a premium, because death is inevitable. And so when the death happens, they get a cash out for these policies. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I've actually heard, and I didn't read the book, but I had this conversation with somebody, and they said that's what the Kennedys did. Like they did it for the entire family. And so that, like when you go through your ebbs and your low, like when you can't afford it, like the family kicks in and be like, we ain't losing that policy. We might lose some other stuff, but we ain't losing it.
Yeah, but
And
then
it's
when the elder dies, everybody gets at least minimum $100,000, something
right.
crazy like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think we as a people are ready for that yet, because I think we'll be looking over our shoulders who's going to bump us off.
Yeah, and it's a way to set it up too. You set up a trust to say, so
Yeah,
it may be that that $100,000 is not going to you, it's going to the trust. And the trust says that how much money each person gets. Like, so that's like a family agreement sitting down. Like, you can get a monthly amount instead of getting the bulk. Like,
right.
why not get a monthly,
Peace.
a monthly amount of piece to live on? And then
Yeah.
everybody's happy if you just get a piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
And as the trust gets bigger, like, it may be some clauses in there that says, if you need part of the trust to put a down payment on the house, then the trust will give you that money.
Right.
I have a question though. Like I always was concerned about when I had my after school business, like as an owner of a company that has employees, if something happened to me, how they would get paid. So what type of, is that, do you put that like in your will, or is that a part of your, like a trust?
No, it's
How does
a
that work?
the name is escaping me.
So, but there is a way to do it to where you can
Yeah.
at least have it to where they get paid for like a month or a week or some type of. bridge for
Yes.
them.
I cannot think of the name, but yes, it basically acts as you were there, um,
Yeah.
just to make sure that the business doesn't, or your employees don't completely fall on their face, because you have transitioned on.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
yeah.
that's something that, small business owners don't always think about or don't always consider. And it's important because your life affects so many other lives. So it's something to be considered. So when you think of it, let us know, even if it's not in tonight's call.
Okay, I'll come back with it by
Yeah,
next week.
sounds good. Okay.
Um, and then the whole life policy builds cash value. You can do a partial surrender of it, if you need some money. But we talked about living benefits, so we're not going to partial surrender. And it's a level monthly payment with no lapse. So if you buy a policy for your child and it's $50,000 and it's um 75 or $50 a month, that $50 a month will never change as long as it does not lapse. And with a whole life policy, it's still growing. Right. So depending on the company and depending on how they have it set up, depends on how much it grows. And then this I found out, I guess it's about 4 years now. So a life settlement is defined as the sale of an existing life insurance policy by the policy owner to a third party. The policy owner will receive an immediate lump sum cash settlement, as opposed to accepting the cash surrender value. The settlement proceeds generated from the policy owner selling the life insurance policy are always greater than the policy's cash surrender value. So what all did I say? Is basically I said we're not going to surrender our cash surrender, right? Because if you have $100,000 policy, if you surrender for the cash value, it may be only worth 20,000, right? And there goes the 80,000, just it's gone. So what you can do is take that same $100,000 and sell it to a company. And instead of them giving you the $20,000, they may give you 60 or 70. So now I have a question for everyone. Out of all of the different types of life insurance policy, which one do you think is most appealing to that third party? Just based on what I told you. And I'm not going to go back to the other slide.
Universal or whole?
I was gonna say whole.
Oh,
Say
I don't
whole.
know.
You gotta make a choice. You can't say either one.
oh, okay.
Yes. What's
All
your
right.
pick,
I have.
Janice? Which one you going with?
Universal.
I'm going whole.
All right, Miss Janice, why you say universal?
Because you said there's living benefits and it grows based on the market.
Half right.
Oh.
If there's a company, right, the company doesn't care about living benefits.
Right.
But you hit it right on the nail. And I've been doing this for like every time I get a chance, I've done this, and you're the first person that ever got it right. Everybody always choose whole life. And the reason why, and when I read this and I started looking at the examples, like I was in the house and I literally cussed out loud and said, "You SOBs," because it pissed me off so much because all my career, everybody has always told me, stay away from IULs, stay away from IULs, stay away from IULs. But it's us that they want to stay away from the IULs because they're so powerful.
Right. And get the whole. And I was always told with whole that the money you could save with the whole, you could invest in the market on your own. That whole is not necessarily the way to go. But I got a whole.
Yeah,
I did have a universal, and then now, I flipped it, but I'm going to gather them all. It's just a few of them. and see which one I'm going to drop, which one I'm going to, get your opinion on stuff on the sidebar, because this is
Yeah.
crazy. And I just think it's ignorance, like anything else. The more you know, you then can proceed with new knowledge when you have the information. And I think since it's not in our face about insurance, and we don't think about, what could happen, we don't put it as a priority.
Agreed.
Then for all your 1099s, you need a universal life source because
Mhm.
that's your retirement.
Mhm.
You can, if you set it up correctly, that's how you can fund your retirement through a universal life policy if it's set up right.
Right.
Universal life. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna call you because I have a policy as well. But you know what's sad is I don't even know I pay it, but I don't even really know what benefits I have. So maybe it's time for me to like revisit it because I've had it for like, I don't know, a long time, 7 years or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Go back to the table.
I know. Okay. So we're at like 7:53. Oh, is this okay? Yes, please.
Yep. This is the last one. I have one more after this, just with all my information.
Cool.
But these are the current states that I'm licensed in. And again, I add states as I need them. Two states that I will never add is New York and California. They just have way too much requirements for me to fool with them. But I do have some partners that are licensed in those states.
Wow. Okay.
And here's my information.
Okay.
Excellent. You guys screenshot it.
Yep.
And then also put your information in the chat, George, if you'd like.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Beautiful.
So awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate this presentation. I know that it's not directly real estate directed, but it also just talks about building generational wealth and setting our families up for future purchases so that they can have future purchasing power. That's the true essential. That's why I pay my monthly every month, is because I'm like, okay, I can set my kids up for them to have a different future than I did, a different starting point than I did. And so this is what many families that we look at now, the Hiltons, like you said, all of these, the Kennedys, these major families, they used insurance as a tool of wealth building. So I would like for us to begin to wrap our brain around that. And it's not even just for children. We talk about children, but you can decide who your beneficiary is. If someone has impacted your life and has made a difference for you, saw something in you, gave you away, and you want to bless them, that's a way to do it where it can change their lives. So it's just a really powerful tool. And I know as you get seasoned in life, there's more need to have healthcare coverage. A lot of times in our community, we miss out because we don't do the preventive type of care. We wait until it's like the leg is about to fall off before we go and get the care. And you can get ahead of some of these diseases that take over our community. We can get ahead of them just by simply going to visit a doctor and getting your blood drawn and finding out what's going on in your body. So I am a little passionate about this. I would never want to sell it, but I am an advocate. So thank you so much, George. That's why we have George. He can help you, and I can just tell you, like, go talk to George. So yes, really appreciate your time tonight. I hope you guys found it valuable. If you have any questions or want to have an assessment, you have his information and you can definitely sidebar him. I will definitely be doing that and trying to maybe even see if I could get a better monthly cost, because I pay a pretty penny. Anyone have questions? Open up the floor. Anyone have questions for him?
I do.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone. Hi, George. Thank you for the presentation. I did start a little late with tonight's meeting, but I don't know if you talked about, because I currently have a few policies, just like Janice mentioned, and I definitely understand the benefits of life insurance and how you can, definitely grow your finances, from it. But I also understand that you have to have insurance interest on certain people. So can you just like kind of refresh my memory? Because I tried to take a policy out on my brother, but because there's no sure interest there, I was denied. So I know there's certain, relationships that you have to have.
Mhm.
Very good point.
Your brother is an insurable interest. That just might be that company. And again, that's why I'm a broker. Like some people don't, some companies may not say your brother is insurable interest, but another company will say yes. I have companies where you can list your cousin as an insurable interest. I had I had a guy that he didn't have any kids. He got a policy from me. This his nephew is who he treated as his son, right? And so I went back and forth with this company, and I won't say which company, but I literally went back and forth with the underwriter. Like, he doesn't have any kids. Like, how are you going to tell him who his son is? Like, and there was just some back and forth going back with the company, and they eventually approved it.
Mhm.
So, and that's one of the things that I love as well, because I have direct contact with the underwriters, the people that make the decision, either yes or no.
But I have a question. Can't you get around that by just like, for instance, she said she got some kickback from her wanting to actually physically insure her brother, but can't her brother just start the policy that she pays for to be the beneficiary of that particular policy and get that
Yeah.
same benefit, and that she's just paying it? So at that
Yes.
stage, they would just, he just would have to be willing to, allow her to pay it to be the beneficiary. Am I correct?
Yes. There's many ways around it. Yes. Because she can be the well, they already said no, that she can't be the owner, but she can be the payer. Like, he can be the applicant and the owner, and she's the payer, and he's going to name her as a beneficiary.
He
Yeah.
has to. He
Great,
has
that
to
was
know,
helpful.
but he has to know. He's going to know that she's taking a policy out on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
do
The only people that you don't have to get their permission
baby.
to take out insurance policy are 18 and under.
Oh, okay.
And so
So then,
that brings me to I'm sorry, go ahead, Dane.
no, you can go ahead. I'll wait for you to finish.
So that brings me to my next question, because do you also do child riders as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And child riders are for those, when we look at your budget, depending on how many kids you have, you can do a child rider, and some people may have 10 kids. One child rider will cover all 10 of those kids. So that particular single mother or family don't have to pay 10 separate policies. They can just cover everybody. So yeah, child riders are there.
All right. Any other questions?
No,
Yes,
just a comment about dental insurance. While you guys are working, y'all better get your teeth fixed, because when you retire, it's pitiful, insurance coverage. Because, in terms of major things that you need, it's just basically maintenance. Am I correct, George?
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
Oops.
That's why I'm telling you, I stay shopping. I stay shopping for companies.
Okay.
Just so you can have that. And I literally just Physician Mutual. I just got contracted with them about 2 months ago. So 3 months ago, I would have said yes, but now I can say no. Like, I
gotta call you, George.
yeah, Physician Mutual is that's it.
How long do you have to have it before you could use it? Because Yeah.
Like, so with Physician Mutual, they have day one coverage is for x-rays, tooth cleaning, x-rays, and there's something else that's in there. But everything that's major, you have to wait a year. They're not going to give you the major stuff because you can say, I want a root canal and then drop it.
Mm-hmm. I know. They're gonna make you
And
pay
that's-
in. Okay.
Yeah. So they try to protect themselves.
Okay. That's understood. So a year. All right.
Okay, I have one more question. I'm so sorry.
No.
George, do you also do long-term care insurance? Because I hear so many horrible stories about that, but I also hear how beneficial it is if you were to be placed in assisted living or in a nursing home.
That's where your living benefits come in. So your long-term care is tied to your life insurance policy. So we will look for a life insurance policy and make sure that those living benefits are in there, so you can pull from it when you have to go into those facilities or need somebody to take care of you.
I think I
Okay,
have
thank you.
that. That's a good question though, Janae, especially as a single person. I mean, that might not be my whole future, but just speaking to my current, that's important.
And long-term care is extremely hard to get. Like the long-term care policy, it's hard. I had a guy that was turned down, had a couple people turned down for high cholesterol.
Wow.
So
Oh,
that's the reason why we will pivot to your life insurance policy and just make it make sure you have the right living benefits in there.
and this is that's why it's probably important to get it. I mean, when you're fairly young, because
Yeah.
young is relative. It's all
Yes.
relative, but
Yes.
the number is lower. Okay, got it. Wow, this was so good. I'm so glad you guys had questions. That always makes for a great call. I'm definitely, now going to have some talking points when I meet with George about the long-term care, about the dental. So the questions definitely stimulated some more thought for me. So thank you guys so much. I guess maybe we should pivot and do a little real estate before we get off the call. Does anyone have any updates, anything to share? Daniel, is there any speaking points that you would like to share with us? It's 8 o'clock, so we have, about 15 minutes.
Not necessarily any, speaking points. I just appreciate the presentation like everybody else. I got a better understanding, based from the last conversation that, I had with George, a little bit clarity on, that particular life insurance policy. I'm one that goes back to what, he just mentioned, like after COVID, it's like they don't need it anymore. I had two policies for years, and I just stopped paying on them because I never seen and still to this day, I'm still, as an entrepreneur, it's really hard to grasp paying into some of these policies, even though I know if, you pass away, you need those benefits. But when I sit back and I look at the math, especially with us being, real estate investor base, my mindset was always to kind of bank on self, because the money that, that I see, and I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm really seeing the value of, what George is mentioning. But it's kind of like, for the amount of coverage that I had put in place for myself and the amount that I was actually spending to buying that type of coverage, it just didn't make any sense for me to keep paying that when I can take that same money and do a marketing campaign and bring in half that revenue of what the policy would pay me out in like 6 months, and business wise of cash flow, versus saying that I have to wait till I die in order to pull it out. Or I was always baffled about that, you having to pay into a policy for so long. So that's why the last time that I set up a policy, I kind of did like a policy that I would call is like what everybody calls insurance, right? It's term. So if something happened to me before I become rich, then maybe I can use it, right? I went that route as well, and then I just was seeing the cash flow from business superseded what the policy benefits should be. So then I just went back into a mold to say, well, let me just focus on keep investing into myself so I can have things in place so I can pull from, like, putting rentals in place and putting different things in place. So I am a little bit more open-minded, to revisiting it only from looking at it from a benefit standpoint of using it as a tool to make money and use it to do things for me as a right now benefit versus when I die type of benefit. Because a lot of us ain't making it to 65 years old, to really pull from it to enjoy it themselves. And then the amount that we're saying that we really, really need, do our children really need that to bury us versus what you would spend over a course of 20 to 30 years into, some of these policies. So that's the reason why I let my first one cancel. And then I went back again because somebody like George came to me again, one of my brothers, in Atlanta, same thing. And then now this is the third time it's coming to me again. So to answer your question, Jasmine, that's why I don't have insurance, because you always own me for not having it and everything else. But that's a reason why I actually don't have it. So
I like what you said. Can I
I
just say
feel exactly where you're coming from.
I want to say that I don't object with what Daniel's saying, but what I do think is important, and that you really have to come to like grips with, is what type of money person are you? A money manager? Because what you're saying sounds great in theory, that you can make all this money and you can put it aside, but is that truly your disciplines in your life? Now, if you are set up as that person where you are a strategic saver, and you are about that savings life and you won't touch it for anything, then yes, going uncovered could be a strategy. But if you are like the common person, and a lot of people that live in this society that live paycheck to paycheck, that do not have savings, do not have a significant amount of savings, and is like one emergency away from their family falling apart financially, you do need coverage.
no, I understand that. And then, I guess as you get older, which I am, is down where I look at things as, taking more low risk choices versus high risk choices. So I'm not against anything that you're saying or George or anyone else saying. It's just that my philosophy been a little different. And to answer your question, no, I'm not a saver. I have never saved in my life, period. What I do is I buy assets, things that I could sell if something was to happen. So I always do things like that. So and the reason why I don't really save is because I'm constantly always investing to grow my business. So it's hard to save when the business need tools in order to be able to make more money. And I guess ideally the goal is to eventually get to that benchmark to where it levels out, to where everything that you putting in, you actually start to receive back. Or it crashes and then you kind of start all over again, and it's a continuous cycle. But I guess that's just what we have to do and pivot as an entrepreneur, because no other way that we're going to be able to get it. Because what I learned over the years is if I save, then I have nothing to invest, and then I can't grow, and then I can't even pay myself and stuff like that. So it's constantly evolving with creating leverage and stuff like that. So I am trying to figure it all out, because it is things that I do think about. And I'm looking at, people say that you got to get to the point to where something happened to you, what happened to your children. I understand that as well too, but the goal is to raise the children to be grown to take care of themselves as well. So, you dying, they shouldn't have to wait to receive anything from you.
But that doesn't work. That doesn't work either, Daniel, because how many
Can I throw
funerals How many funerals have we all been to when we sat and said, "Oh,
Didn't
so
have it.
had no insurance"? Oh my God,
Yes.
isn't
No,
that
I
terrible?
Looking at
I understand it. You know, it's just from a different perspective. When you self-employed and you have to create your own salary, there's only but so much time in a day,
Right.
in a month, in a year. So it's like, what's really, really important to you? Growing your business. So the goal is to get to the point to create generational wealth. So that's why we all here at FTB, so we can try to figure out how we could put our minds together to, to help massage some of the philosophy by group economics. But for me, it's all about growth and growing to where I'm at the point now where I can start looking at, some other avenues, but at the same time, I still have to bank on myself first before I can give it to a bank to save it for me and hold it for me when they're going to be investing it and using it. So why don't I use it myself? At least try to, so that's just been my philosophy.
What's up,
I just
Joseph?
wanted to, yeah, I just want to throw some out there because my reservation has been the foundation of where Daniel is coming from. And the way I see it is, number one, I'm appreciative of this presentation because it opened up a lot of directions that I didn't see. Because see, you spend so much money, so many things to pay for. And so when you identifying where you're going to spend your money, you want to feel a return. You want to see it right now, something that's going on now. And so the direction of it is, I never heard of the direction of what he presented in reference to living benefits and growing your finances. I did hear about that before. I didn't take I didn't take a step in that direction in reference to making money through the insurance. But that's what I want to learn more about, of how we can make money doing the finance. I mean, doing just basically through insurance or through these what was the word that we use? The trust that I hear about a lot, but mainly the living benefits, or how we can benefit from it now versus what he said earlier is you don't have to die in order to use the policy. So those are things that help me actually work into this direction of wanting to actually get in it now, because I always look at, there's so many things to spend money on, and everything I like to spend money on is for my right now. That's setting up my future, yes, but I like to see a return on it right now. And basically what I'm hearing is there is a return that we can speak on investing in this direction every month. So I'm very, very interested in that. And the 1099, I do a lot of contracts all across the country. And what he said is that universal life is very, very beneficial to that direction. And so I wanted to speak to him directly about event insurance, as well as dealerships. What they used to have back in the day, they used to have where if somebody was about to officially pass, if they purchased a vehicle and they had a loan, and that if they pass, well, it would be paid off and the family would still be able to keep that vehicle from there versus the bank getting it back. So they don't have that no more, or they very seldom offer that up and down the country. So these are things I would like to look at. But thank you for this presentation, because it has me more in the direction of getting exactly this insurance done, where I was running away from it because I couldn't use it right now. And so, but thank you again.
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right, that's amazing. I love that, because I think that also is a barrier or a roadblock that our community has, is that we sometimes only look in the present and we don't think about how we can set ourselves up, for the future, for the next generation. And so I'm glad that it opened up your minds, and that's awesome. Good. All right. Any other questions?
Just want to add one comment there. Yeah, so I'm a big proponent for insurance. And so, George, I really appreciate you breaking it down for me. I might definitely want to tap into some other policies that you have. I'm always having my policies from as early as 20s, because I just feel the need for it, as, guess I couldn't self-insure myself. So that was my best way to have, insurance, so to speak, or have a legacy. But I recently came across and started doing overfunded insurance. So maybe I'll reach out to you to get information on that. But that's one that maybe you want to share with the group that is so powerful, so crazy that it's like the tax benefits and the fact that you could borrow from it and become your own bank. That's, for us, that's golden. So maybe you want to come back and shed some light on that one, the overfunded policy, because I do have one a little bit on the expensive side, but it's worth its weight in gold because just the way you could do with it in terms of borrowing from yourself and just banking on yourself, and at the same time, just having that additional protection separate from any other policy that you have.
Agreed. Thank you. Wow, this stimulated a lot of great conversation. I'm really happy today. I'm like, okay, great call. Great conversation. Lots of different perspectives that are shared, which is how the world turns. So no right or wrong, just definitely trying to find a direction that benefits your family and you and your situation, your life. So thank you again, George. I do want to share a couple things. I have a couple quick things. So April 20th, which is a Saturday, we're going to be doing a second tax session with Anthony Brown. So that was a perfect transition. He's agreed to go in a little bit deeper with us. So I will be sending out an email about that. Hopefully you guys received it. I also posted in Mighty Networks. So April the 20th from 2 to 4. And then also next week, we're going to have Own Easy come back. It's Tangela and Coach K. They were on the call before, but I actually followed up with her. We were able to reconnect, and they're going to come on and do a presentation to kind of let you know how, as an investor, you can use that MLO portfolio or that platform, the mortgage loan operator platform to benefit you as an investor. So the last time they spoke, they were speaking mostly to real estate agents, but next Monday, they're going to target it more towards an investor and how you can benefit from their platform. So I'm very excited about that. I do have to confirm, but I will be sending out promos for that as well. Also, I have a couple other properties in the St. Petersburg, Tampa area. I've been trying to figure out the easiest way to share that information on Mighty Networks, but I will be in practice, or I will definitely be doing that this week. So keep your eyes out in potential properties. And if you are not in that group, I'll send you an invitation if you are a member. So, but I have some Tampa and St. Petersburg fix and flips that I would like to share with you guys. And there's also one in Crystal Springs that I've been talking about the last few weeks. So, and then please join us on Mighty Networks. If you have not, please do so. And please communicate, share information there. I'm going to, probably the last Monday of this month, I will do a presentation on Mighty Networks so that we can use it and it can be more powerful. So I will announce that as well, probably take about 10 or 15 minutes, share my screen and kind of show you guys around. And one last thing I do want to do before we get off the call is I want to go to the website and just kind of show you some of the benefits of going to the website. Let me see, do I have it up? My bad, 1 second. Maybe not. But what I can tell you is that there's a lot of information on the website that you can use. If you have someone that wants to join the call, you would like to invite them to the call, they can go to the website. And you can also, if you're getting those weekly emails, I usually send them out on Sunday nights, and you can forward that and they can join the call that way as well. So they can also join the call on our website. Did I get that right? Okay, yeah, here we go. So on the bottom of the page of our main screen, can you guys see this? I think that you can see it. Great. So on the bottom of this page, it says we connect weekly. This link right here, this will join the call automatically. So you can invite them that way. And then also, if you have someone that is ready to become a member, you can submit your application here on the website as well. It also shares some information of the benefits of becoming a member, the renewal costs. So this is a great resource as well. So if anyone is wanting to apply, you can do it on the website, which is flipthesebricksacademy.com. Right. And then one last thing is that we are going to be starting a new book. I did post this on Mighty Networks as well. It's a 2-book series, but we're going to start off with estimating rehab cost For those who are interested in fix and flips, this is a great place to start, kind of learning how to bid on your projects and making sure that you are submitting the right amount on an offer. So our first call, our first discussion will be next Monday. So we are moving the book club meeting where it's going to be Mondays at 6 p.m. So you can log in 6 p.m., 6:30, take a break, and then join us back at 7 o'clock. So Monday, April the 8th, we will start this book and we'll be going over sessions 1 and 2. So read what sessions 1 and 2, and please join us on Monday. I'm hoping that one of these books will grab you guys' attention. I'm praying for it. And that we'll have a great turnout for one of our sessions. But I will be there every week, whether you are or you not. It's been a great accountability tool for me. I haven't read this much in a very long time, so it's been beneficial. So hopefully you guys will join me on Monday.
In that particular book, Jasmine, could you drop it in the chat with the author and everything so people can research to find it? Because there's so many books titled of that particular name. So to make sure everybody get that same particular book if they want to, follow along or even join the book club.
Yes, and it's also, I took a picture of it and gave that information. It's on Mighty Networks on our book club page. And I also have added it to the email, the weekly email that comes out. It's on there as well. So, but I will definitely put it in the chat right now too. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
I think that's
them.
all that I have.
Which one did I start? I started.
Anyone else would like to share any information, ask any questions before we wrap it up? No? Okay. I'm
I
gonna put
guess
this. Go ahead.
I would just throw one thing out. Me and Mr. Brown, like we spoke before, we've been working on setting up an event. It is secured. It's in Orlando, and it is July 5th, 6th, and 7th. It is a fashion comedy talent show, part 1, part 2, and part 3. 3 days takeover out there in Orlando. Last time I've been there putting on an event, we had T.I. and MTV and the Orlando Magic. And so I'm going to reach out to all of my relationships out there to make sure this is exclusively high level and resultful. And so I'm just throwing to the table that this is a great opportunity for Flip These Bricks. And I'm responsible for the event. Mr. Brown is responsible for encouraging Flip These Bricks to get involved, to identify some land, some property, a building to refurbish, what have you. I'm leaving that between Mr. Brown and Flip These Bricks. I'm going to handle the platform and to handle the people, the power and the influence, the radio, everything out in Orlando. That's my job, to bring to this one location and to one position for us to move forward, whatever the visions, the missions, and the goals of Flip These Bricks. Most importantly, that is the first of 200, like we spoke of before, and it is July 5th through 6th and the 7th. And so it is a few days before the actual national capital campaign that we're kicking off in July, where we're producing 200 cities, 200 fashion comedy talent shows to open 200 event helps in the studios of America. And we will produce a minimum of $50 million every single month coming into the same platform. And we will have a total domination all over the United States of America. So if you're looking for people, products, platforms, influence, whatever it is our job to unite it. So I just want to stop right there and just throw that out there. When we spoke of what we were going to do, we got it done. And the official date is July 5th through the 7th. And
That's
I'm so
awesome.
excited about it.
So please make sure that you share your promo flyer with me. I wrote the dates down, but send me the details and I can add it to our weekly email so that it can kind of get some love, over the time. And I'm only like 2 hours away from Orlando, so I will definitely be there. I'm gonna put it on my calendar. All right, very good, awesome. All right, guys. So it's been a fantastic Monday. It's been a very great call. I've enjoyed every moment of it. I think that everyone's walking away with some things to think about. George, I'm sure you'll be getting some calls So I can't wait to hear the updates and let us know how that goes. And I will be calling you myself as well. So if no one else has anything to share, we can say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Miss Janice said it first. Have a great night, guys.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thanks, George. Great job. And I will also post the link of this call. So if you guys want to review it again, it will be available probably like Thursday or Friday of this week. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, George.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.